Hey, welcome to Butcher Bay Rejects. I'm Mark.
I'm Greg. How you doing, nerds?
How you doing this week, bud?
Well, I think you and I are pretty giddy there because by the time this airs, we'll have hopefully faced a new season of Fortnite. So next week we'll have a little review there of the new season because we're all pretty excited.
New Battle Pass.
Not much is leaked and theories abound and speculation. So I've seen fake pictures of that we're getting the Peacemaker and Darth Vader, in a bundle. So whatever. We'll wait and see.
It'll be great.
Otherwise, we're going to cover Picard episode 3 called Assimilated, episode 2 of The Winning Team, Rise of the Lakers Dynasty, Survivor season 42, episode 3, actually titled Good and Guilty, and the new show on HBO Max called DMZ starring Rosario Dawson, which I just learned is going to be a limited series with only 4 episodes. I thought they just gave us the first 4. Apparently that was it. And guess what? Mark finally saw SpiderMan No Way Home.
I did.
He did. So we'll save that for last. We'll kick it off with Picard because it looks like Picard goes back to the future. Basically, right? I mean,
and in standard form, they run into trouble.
Yeah, basically Star Trek: The Voyage Home, but on your TV screens.
Well, they went to L.A. and not San Diego.
That's true. And right away tackled the homeless issue in L.A., which is rampant from what I'm hearing, which is why everyone's leaving California and moving to Texas, like Joe Rogan. So, how creepy. I mean, God, got Annie Wershing as the Borg Queen. How creepier is it when she doesn't have legs and she's crawling on the floor towards you? Like, I thought she was creepy enough as it is. But if that woman was crawling towards me with that look on her eye, I'd be like, okay, just kill me now.
Yeah, that had something to it. That was kind of like, that looked like something very much out of out of Aliens or something, your worst skittering towards you,
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that she's all powerful and gets in your mind too,
and then Woo! And then the tendrils come out and everything just hooks in and is like, roar. I'm like, oh boy.
Oh, but did she take control or what? I mean,
well, you know what? I knew she was going to. I knew she was going to try in.
Yeah.
Oh,
they need each other.
They do for sure. And then like, once she became lucid, wasn't she just like scary?
Yes.
I mean, come on, like, she starts talking to Picard. Oh, look, cutest. You were very, very, like, almost like she's trying to seduce him, like that bedroom voice and very, very.
Well, yeah, that's basically what he explained to Agnes, right? Like what happens when you kind of merge with her, right? Like you go through all those emotions,
Agnes took the ride.
Which she did, and the anger. Got the anger one pretty fast.
No, that whole thing of sadness. It's you never really, assimilation has always been, okay, they're knocked out and they got the body parts put on them. You never see, or you never saw the sort of reprogramming, right? You never saw that part of the whole thing where, she's in her head and she's going to mess with it. You always thought it was just the implants that gave them that assimilation aspect. Like they needed the implants in order to talk to the thing. And, you kind of like went, whoa. But I forget, is Agnes part synth?
No, she just was one of the top experts on synths.
Right. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah. So, in essence, like, because I mean, if she got into Picard, she could corrupt that in an instant, right? He's all mechanics. So it's like,
oh yeah. I didn't realize at the time. Guess who this episode was directed by?
Leah Thompson.
That's right. Which is the whole Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Yeah, no, I mean,
as you know, or the lady who had sex with a duck. Okay. Oh boy.
They call him Howard the Duck. No, actually, she actually sang in that movie.
Yes, she did. I didn't see it as many times as you, but the one time I did.
No, but I found this out afterwards that she actually wrote and sang the music that their band played in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Like if you ever look up Hunger City on YouTube or whatnot, it's actually her singing. So I was like, I'm impressed. Yeah. Now she's directing. She's directed quite a few things.
Yeah, her daughter's acting now too. Daughter's been in a ton of stuff.
So
what'd you think? What'd you think of that line? Like, oh God, I'm going to paraphrase, but when when Jurati there kind of turns the tables on the Borg Queen, and then they have this back and forth.
That was
now
beautiful.
You've done it. She goes, "What? You've impressed me." And I'm like, "Oh, that was such good writing." Oh my God.
This show is phenomenal on so many levels. Just the whole thing. It's not often like there's somebody smart enough to kind of mess with the Borg Queen, and Jurati knew that going in, so it's kind of like, she turned the table on him, and it's like, that's so nice.
It was.
But now she's in all the systems, right? So it's kind of like,
well, yeah, they need her to get home too, right?
Yeah, that's true. So it's all.
And what's his name is having his own little original series episode. What's the Spanish captain's name again? Because he's kind of doing a
Rios.
Rios. Rios is having his own little side thing. He loses his communicator, and in 2024,
it's what happened to Chekhov.
Yeah, but at least in this, it could be explained, because at one point Raffi was searching for his comm, and she could have been holding what was just a thicker iPad type of thing. So it's not as bad. But yeah, Rios and Teresa. So he's doing. He's falling in love with this Spanish doctor who helps out illegals, And,
the head injury has to go to the doctor, gets caught. It's Chekhov.
Yeah. Basically, that's what it was.
It's like, okay, well, let's find other things to equate to Voyage Home, shall we? And then you have Raffi and Seven, playing up the whole girl, and this is where we met. And can we get a can we just say
City on the Edge of Forever? That's the episode I'm trying to think of where the similar love when Kirk falls in love with we haven't talked about the big elephant in the room, Elnor. Elnor dies, but then they make an allusion to going, I guess when their mission's over, going back into the past.
If they correct everything, then he should never die, right? So then,
exactly. And technically they're not supposed to change anything, but whatever, it's.
But I mean, they are out of time at this point, so it's kind of like, you don't know. And the one thing I was kind of like curious of is like, it's a warship that doesn't have a proper sick bay.
Yeah.
There's no diagnostics on there. There's no,
what little power they had, the Queen was using it to heal herself, right? So they had to actually choose the Queen because that was their only ticket home and finding the Watcher.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Now, are you thinking the Watcher is Guinan? Because
I thought, but then that would have been too obvious. Then it would have been too obvious, right?
The thing is that when Picard went to visit her in Los Angeles.
I know. I thought of that because they could do the same thing of that episode. The one episode I watched of Next Gen where this similar story happened, and then he did go in the past, and then he goes back to the bar, and they have that knowing smile between them. So I think the same thing's going to happen.
Oh, you do?
She didn't tell him when he saw her for drinks. She didn't tell him. Right, because she can, or else it won't happen. Right,
exactly.
So I think there's going to be a little nod and a wink there on that last episode. So no, you're right. Yeah, it could definitely be, and I hope it's that because she's I don't know how many. I don't even know her age, but I know she's extremely
several centuries.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be a nice nod to that episode.
Well, she came from the Nexus.
Oh, did she?
Well, she came out of the. Oh no, I think she was. She ended up.
Oh, you're my Next Gen database here. So I'll have to.
From Star Trek Generations, when the movie where Kirk died there, when they brought Kirk and Picard together, Guinan was in the Nexus for several years. Or for a long time. I don't know if she was got caught up in it and whatnot. She knew Malcolm McDowell's characters from the Nexus. So
Dr. Saurian, I think Malcolm McDowell, the guy who kills Kirk. I killed Kirk. That's what I got him to write on my action figure when I came to Montreal. He had a little gleam in his eye when he wrote that. So looking forward to next week's episode for sure.
I would have had him sign Catch you later.
You're
Irritating little cocksucker.
You want to jump into some episode 2, The Winning Team? Is that all there is?
The Winning Team,
So
yes.
we saw the big clash between the old and the new. So the new owner against the old owner, Red Auerbach, legendary Boston coach. And
well, I mean, he wasn't the old owner. He was, well, yeah, I mean, he was the owner of the Boston Celtics.
So it was like the new owner, and that.
Yeah, and the veteran kind of clashing.
Yeah, he wanted to get to him for advice, and basically Red's like, well, it's no point. You're going to lose anyway. Why don't you quit now?
Yeah. And how good did Michael Chiklis play that?
Yes, exactly.
I loved this episode. I think there was a whole lot of reveal. More on Doc Buss's character.
Well, that whole thing was like a chess game, talking about winning, trying to outmaneuver each other, verbally sparring.
Mm-hmm.
They over liquor and steak, and then he orders a lobster on his tab when Bus walks out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a good scene.
But I think Bus was, as someone who didn't come from money, who worked his way up and whatnot. He's not going to let somebody talk down to him. He's not going to let somebody walk all over him. He's going to be nice and kind to him, but he's going to fucking gut him later.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Red just made a lot of coaches have similar stories where they're disrespected by the older statesmen. And if the elder statesmen hadn't done that, they would have made such a drive, driven their enemy like that. And of course the Lakers go on to a tear in the 80s,
Yeah, no, it's I mean, me, I'm a huge underdog fan. I love watching the underdog win. And, just, I mean, at the end of the episode where he's just on top of the desk and it's like, I want you to do everything. You let me worry about the money. We make a championship team. That's it. That is our only goal. And it's like, I mean, if I was sitting there, I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah, and actually Jonah Hill directs this episode.
Yeah, saw that.
The scenes I liked the most were with the flashbacks to young Jerry West, which we finally know where his anger issues come from. His father, pretty violently abuses his mother, and then he goes outside to shoot hoops as a way to escape, and then what becomes one of the greatest basketball players ever.
But it was never fulfilling because he always associated that with getting away from his father.
Yeah,
and then those anger issues came onto him. So it's like. Yeah.
And then at the end, he winds up leaving the Lakers.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's funny that was that twist I didn't see coming because.
Yeah, me neither. But then I remembered
him starting to.
Pat Riley, right? I mean, that's how we know who coaches the Lakers.
But you start seeing him be excited about what's to come, especially when Doc Buss gives him carte blanche to get whoever he wants. He's got to keep Magic, but he's got to, build the team you want. You want that? We'll get him. He's pretty much got everything, but he doesn't know how to handle it. So
yeah. And then we get into the whole Magic and Cookie. It was Cookie actually becomes his wife of forever, later on, obviously, but he's pretty arrogant at this point. He beats up her boyfriend in a little pickup basketball game.
Was that trash talk or what?
His
that was like,
dominance.
holy shit, that was dark.
But it's starting to push away the people that care about him a little bit there, I mean, but
well, you know what? I mean, he's trying to deal with a whole lot because he so wants his mother's approval, right? And he goes out, buys her a hot tub, and she gives him shit for it, but then she's talking to her friends and be like, what he did for me, like, okay, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
you can't tear him down for buying this and then go brag to your friends. Look what he bought me, So, I mean, that's gotta mess with people as well, But he really went after Cookie's boyfriend and like, oh wow.
Yeah, that was shoe store manager to town there. Okay.
Yeah. That was some pretty harsh stuff, like he really, I'm surprised he didn't like just jump over and just want to sock him one,
Yeah.
Of course, you'd have to get up on a step stool in order to punch him in the chin, but
yeah, exactly.
yeah, no, I'm at this point, it's just like they're leaving it off right at good points where you just kind of like, oh, I got to see what happens next.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right, you want to jump into some Survivor? Episode
Survivor.
3, Good and Guilty. So we find out that, and it's true, it would probably get on my nerves too, as kind as she is, Marianne, the ever
happy,
jubilant, and I also forgot to mention it last week. Like, okay, the way she was crying when I think when Jackson left because he didn't disclose that information. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought that was going on. Like, I thought, oh boy, this girl knows when there's a camera on her. Like, you can't really get that attached to someone in 3 days. And she cried like this person got hurt and is getting sent home, or their loved one died and they have to go. I thought, oh my God, like it's sad, but not that sad. And then we see like, oh my God, this girl wears her heart in her sleeve. She's just nonstop. I don't see her lasting long because, they're getting crankier every day. They don't eat and their rice is taken from them. Their flint's taken from them. So I think
she's trying to make a love connection with a guy on the other team.
Which, yeah, obviously
Zach, and he got voted
guys, off. Yeah, for all the white guys she's attracted to keep getting voted off or in her life reject her, So yeah, I don't think I could take bubbly in a surrounding like that. Like I'd be biting off everyone's head or trying not to.
I mean, in essence, it could be gamesmanship as well. It could be just, look, you just don't want to vote her off because you feel sorry for her, like. Yeah.
And then we have Mike. Mike finds the hidden idol, buries it, and then forgets where he buries the idol. It was at a fork in the road.
Oh, Jesus.
They're all forks in the road. Luckily, yeah, he found it again. What else we got? We had Omar, they crossed into religion a bit there. Omar was telling everyone he's Muslim if you have any questions. And then Johnson's like, well, if you have questions about Christianity, well, then, come to us. So,
yeah.
So far.
I mean, those two are playing up the bromance there.
Yeah. And which no one likes. As soon as you see a man or woman together, or man and man bromance, they have to be separated. They're a threat. So this everyone's watching everyone. If you give someone the slightest dirty look at breakfast,
the gamesmanship went off the charts. Went off the charts here, and it was just kind of like it was all the scheming, right? Like it just okay, you guys are off the rails with this and. I don't know. Like I kind of like watched this and was just like, okay, yep, this doesn't change. Survivor, and like it used to, like I said, I think there's too many thinkers, not enough combatants. You know what I mean? Like it used to be like the physical prowess was a major thing, and.
Well, that's replaced by like the big moves. Like they keep mentioning, like in the past 10 years, their Survivor resume. Like the jury is so savvy now. Like if you haven't done something major, if you haven't constantly put your neck out on the line, and by doing so, getting voted off easily. But this is what they look for now. They look for insane moves that, okay, you can have my vote. Here's $1 million. That's what they're looking for now, the jury. So,
yeah.
So, but the second you do that, you're a target, right? So there's to say the line is fine is the understatement of the year. Like it's no survivor will admit to luck being involved, but there is a humongous amount of luck getting to the end.
Yeah.
You can have all the skill in the world, but there's a lot of luck that gets you there. And that's only third episode. There's a lot more drama to come. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Want to move over to DMZ on HBO Max right now?
Sure.
All right. So long story short, America's involved in a second civil war. Manhattan basically becomes the DMZ. And let me ask you this. In that first episode, did you not get shades or vibes of Escape from New York with the time?
I was just about to say, it's sort of like Escape from New York meets The Walking Dead.
Yeah, exactly. Because part of it is that one shot of her going down the road, which looks kind of post-apocalyptic, right?
Exactly.
In a way.
Like it's a post-apocalyptic. There's no zombies, but it's like lots of little territories fighting each other kind of thing,
Yeah.
So
she's there she has a certain amount of time to at least find her son, not about, she can't really bring him back because of this whole, checkpoints and all that.
Anyway.
But, yeah. So her and her son got separated when she was trying to board the bus before everyone was clearing out. And of course 8 years go by and she's never stopped thinking about him and finds a way in. And well, what else did you like it?
Oh, no, I liked it. I loved the pacing. I loved the way like the DMZ kind of organized a little bit, where there was a little bit of society versus
bit of the Warriors too, right? Because there was a lot of different gangs and
for sure. But there was a bit of a, I guess you could say it was a respect for each other kind of thing that was going on, where, okay, we know you guys are there. We know you guys are there. We got no problem with you. If you got no problem with us, we're all good. But now, like, they're trying to unite the entire island of Manhattan together to form their own state, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting dynamic of whether or not you take I guess you could say, dystopian kind of situation and bring a sense of democracy to it. Right? Now, obviously, Benjamin Bratt plays the head of the Latino gang, who's trying to be the quote unquote governor of everything.
Yep.
So,
but the
he's
main
smooth talking though. He's definitely smooth talking.
Yeah, but the main premise of the show, it feels very like now, like America in 2022. For sure. Actually thought Civil War was going to erupt over the whole vaccination thing. So would they get into a second? I mean, God forbid, I hope there's not a second Civil War. But I thought at one point there it was leaning towards that. So it's very spot on in that premise, the feel of the.
Well, that's just it. Is that people feel people are, I guess you could say, they're more about themselves than they are about the whole, right? And they band together with those that have the same outlook or same things, and they don't trust the government. And not trusting the government, that's been growing for so long now, and now it's just like every conspiracy theorist out there is just kind of like chomping at the bit. Like every little thing is a conspiracy, right? Vaccines. Oh, they're microchipping you. Like, okay, asshole, you're on your phone 24/7. You don't think they know where you are? You know what I mean? Like, let's be realistic about this. So seeing all this and whatnot, it's like, I can see things happening, but the problem, the thing with Civil War in the U.S. is that there's no defined lines, because you have, your red states and blue states, but it's kind of scattered all over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no line to draw, but I mean, even still, it does kind of have a scary reflection of. So. Yeah.
Yeah, even from the start, where Alma's supervisor, Alma, played by Rosario Dawson, is like, gives her a very explicit instructions when she enters the DMZ, like, stay downtown because there's nothing uptown except for people at their worst. And of course, that's exactly where Alma has to go to get her son. Straight to the worst part of the town, so to speak. But I mean, I liked it too. Yeah,
I like that she found out like her old orderly is like now running Chinatown.
Yes. Oh yeah, my buddy from Warrior and Banshee. Yeah, played Wilson Lin. Yeah, Hoon Lee.
That was such a fun exchange, especially when she's trying to look. I just want to talk, and all the girls are just like pointing their guns at him and just like freaking out, like, "Who are you? What are you talking?" Like. Well, it's me. Stop. Hey, man, how you doing? You guys leave. Like, come have a drink. Do you need anything? Can I give you a ride somewhere? Like old friends just hanging out having a drink.
Yeah.
You know,
basically used to work for her.
Yeah, exactly. In the middle of a DMZ, it's kind of like, okay, this is a twist, you know. So no, I'm liking this, and I'm kind of like, I'm liking how it's going, and I'm liking the, I guess you could say, fortitude that she's showing, dealing with all this, you know, finding an old clinic that she was working at and helping out, and then seeing, you know, getting robbed and not really understanding the situation and going after the guy, and then to see her friend get shot, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, don't go running into minefields. You don't know the area, you know what I mean? And, you know, she ran right into sniper bait, you know? So it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting. And, you know, I love at the end when she leaves one, finding out that her son is the big assassin for the head gang, you know, and I think that makes her a lot more determined to get him back. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's that the message that she left on his list, you know, eyes forward, love. You know, now I'm wondering, is it going to register? Is he going to get it? Is it, you know, is that going to fuck with him? Is it going to, you know, I'm kind of like got all these questions now, and it's just like, okay, yeah. And yes, I am going to get through the other 3 episodes in no time.
yeah. I did, but I'm not going to say anything.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
I know.
Buddy.
I'd rather change the subject now and get on to Spider-Man before I ruin something. So, Spider-Man No Way Home, Mike. You know, as you recall, I went to the cinema to watch it, people. So let me just say before you jump in that I had every inch of this movie been spoiled for me, I would have loved it. Since I knew everything, it was just a movie. So what did you know? What did you not know? Did you know, did you believe all the rumor? Like what did you know that happened in the movie that you might have heard about? I knew about,
for me, like I knew about what was a lot of elements that were in the movie. I just didn't know how.
Like what?
Oh, I mean, the 3 Spider-Man,
okay. But wouldn't you have rather have gone in like not knowing that and been so shocked, like, oh my God, how did they pulled it up? Did you know about the Daredevil element? Did you know? Because that was huge. But wouldn't you have rather have not known? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it have been awesome nice to have been surprised? Nothing.
But the thing is, I didn't know how it was all stitched together. So I think there was still that bit of unknown. I didn't know when these scenes were going to be popping up because I didn't look at any sort of.
Well, it only came because, you know, for the listeners that aren't from Quebec, you know, we were set to go see it in the theaters, and then Quebec closed theaters because of the Omicron. So, and then, you know, a month went by and people were thinking, well, it's safe now. Everyone's seen the movie. I'm going to put this photo up, and this, you know, you didn't even have to read an article to know what was happening. So this is what happened in Quebec, ladies and gentlemen.
But I'm not as fazed by spoilers as you are.
No, I'm just saying I would have loved this movie if I didn't know a single thing, and I wished.
I still love this movie. I still loved the interactions between.
The Matt Murdock scene meant a lot to me only because it was the first time now that, you know, a Netflix show crossed into like the MCU, Spider. You know what I mean? So it still meant a lot. Like seeing it, and Charlie Cox wasn't getting work. No one was offering him any roles, and that made me mad. You know, and it broke my heart when. Sorry, I was going to say it broke my heart when I read an article. Like, he went into a theater to catch everyone's reaction, and it was dead silent. And, you know, and people were like, no, that's not what they think.
Shocked.
We were shocked. We were happy. We couldn't believe it. We were like, we couldn't talk. No. We love you, Charlie Cox. Trust me.
No, absolutely. And, you know, just that whole scene was just, how'd you do that? I'm a really good lawyer, you know. It was a great line. But like I said, I didn't know how they were going to stitch all this together and how this was all going to flow. I mean, I knew the bits and pieces were going to be there. But I mean, him and, you know, the opening up with him and MJ just trying to find a quiet spot, right? And then the whole back to the apartment, and then like he's in his underwear getting changed out of Spider-Man, and Aunt May and Happy walk in. It's like, oh, wait a minute, you know, like that whole misconception of whatnot. And then of course, it gets everything gets put out in the open that, hey, guess what? They know, and everything's just going crazy. So for me, like, I loved how it all just kind of rolled together. I knew the bits and pieces, but I didn't know how it was stitched together. I loved the interactions with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, especially like when they first came in and MJ and Ned are trying to, oh yeah, prove it. What do you mean prove it? I don't have my ID with me, And like he gets up and he's hanging by his fingertips and it's like, crawl. This is good enough. No. I want you to crawl. Like I thought all that was fantastic, and then Toby shows up and they start web shooting at each other. And Lolo is like,
it comes out of you. They're more fascinated by how he dispenses.
And Lolo's like, clean up the webs, okay? Yes, Lolo. Sorry. It's like I don't think about it. It's like I don't think about breathing. It just happens.
Yeah.
Did you bring your costume, or because you kind of look like a youth pastor?
Yeah.
So I mean, all those interactions were all fantastic, especially like when they meet on top of the school, and the other two try to comfort Tom Holland. And when Tom Holland said, like, you don't know how I feel, I'm like, whoa, hang on a second. I'm surprised Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man went to Gwen Stacy instead of his Uncle Ben, because it was Uncle Ben that pushed him a little bit further, right? I mean, Gwen Stacy, he couldn't save her, and there's plenty that Spider-Man never got to save over the years, but I was surprised that they went that way. I think it probably to differentiate it a little bit, because obviously Tobey Maguire would be like Uncle Ben, but it reminded me a bit of the scene in Into the Spider-Verse after Miles loses his uncle, and like we've all been there before, like it was very much that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this whole movie, it's something of a graduation story for Peter Parker, this movie confronts kind of like what it means to be a superhero. So he has to grow up and deal with not just fame, but, that the fame that comes with being Spider-Man, but how his decisions have like impact, because they all were, correct me if I'm wrong, weren't they all denied admission to MIT too? Like, so
they were all denied MIT because of their association with him.
Except for, God, best, okay, this is what I've been dying to ask you. Okay, sorry, I'm going to get on Flashpoint. Flash's book is named Flashpoint, one of the major DC storylines. Okay, thank God I didn't know that, because that's the one thing I clung to, because I thought that was brilliant. That Marvel gently poked, DC in the eye by taking their title, making the title of Flash's book about how he knows Spider-Man. And of course he gets into MIT, right? I mean,
of course, because but it's funny though, Flash Thompson was never that smart.
I prefer the Flash and the Joe Manganiello Flash in the first Spider-Man. I wouldn't want to fight me either. I prefer that.
Well, that's just it. That's the way Flash Thompson was, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He was the asshole jock that picked on the nerdy bookworm, So, I mean, Flash is still an asshole, but he's not an asshole jock. He's an asshole entitled shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I like you said, I prefer the old Flash, but no, I mean, I liked all this. I liked everything that went into it. I mean, I love the interactions between him and Doctor Strange. Yeah, you guys got a lot of shit to do. Oh, please, you guys have a lot of shit to do. Like there's magic words, like please, and he doesn't skip a beat, right? He's like, please go get your shit done. But I mean, bringing everybody back. I mean, Alfred Molina was fantastic. William Dafoe was fantastic. Like everybody, it was just
Jamie Foxx.
Hayden Church.
Hayden Church and the lizard guy, the English actor, I forget his name, plays the lizard. Reese our buddy from Kingsman.
Yeah. So I mean,
Rasputin.
I just kind of liked all the interaction between them, because you never got that interaction before, and Tom Holland's Peter trying to help them and trying to be more, be bigger than the ones that they faced in the past, because, hey, they die. And I think, that was the whole thing. Even just like seeing Doc Ock's revelation, Osborn, but you died, and saying that Osborn is still the asshole that he was beforehand, even though he played up being the, oh my God, I'm so lost. Yeah, I went and found you out. No, I liked every aspect of it, and I love the fact that in the end credit, they're correcting the whole Venom storyline.
Yes, that was a great, and the first end credit scene was awesome.
And did you see who he was talking to? The bartender?
Yeah,
Danny Rojas.
That's right.
Football is life.
Yeah. Football is death.
No, I simply thought that this movie was extremely well done. For once, a third Spider-Man doesn't feel like they tried to pack too much into it, like they did the very first Spider-Man. It wasn't it wasn't a trilogy trap, because I think they're planning to do more, and they want to do more, and they want to do more with Holland. So he'll be the first actor that does a fourth movie. Yeah. Because normally they just sign him for 3. Well,
right?
I mean, after leaving part of the symbiote at the bar in Mexico, there's no way they don't do the symbiote movie where black costume Spider-Man.
Well, guys, it's the Sony-verse. Give us a break. It just should have happened already, for God's sakes. You own the rights. Do something with them.
Yeah. And I like how at the end, he changed his costume to the lighter blue. Yeah. He's more the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, when he went back to see, obviously, most of the people that have probably already watched this, I'm not spoiling shit.
No, you're the last one to see it.
After Strange actually does the whole forgetting thing, did you think that Peter was going to try and convince Ned and MJ to try and remember him? Or do you think this is sort of a way to correct it, and now the next MJ is going to be Mary Jane?
Yeah, because that ending there in the diner is kind of like 50, or I thought it's going to be like 51st date. He's going to try to get her to love him all over again. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, it could go anywhere, really. I mean,
yeah. No, like I said,
so you liked it. Basically.
I liked it. I thought there was a lot. I mean, the 3 Spider-Men posing on top of the Statue of Liberty, the Captain America Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole 3 of them just bumbling into each other and then not realizing, okay, we got to trust each other with this, and just fly through the air and boom, away they go. And I remember seeing or reading about the Andrew Garfield saving of MJ. The way they were all dizzy, you didn't realize it was him until the last thing, and I was like, no, they went right after it right there. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. I guess the trailer kind of, or the spoilers went a little bit off the rails with it. So. But it was it was fun to see the 3 of them back, or Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in the costumes. Yeah, because don't forget, I saw this with my niece, and she was like, "Who's that?" And I said, "Well, that's Tobey Maguire. He's my Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he was my first." And she didn't even, we get it, you're young, but she didn't even know who Andrew Garfield was. So she, but for her Spider-Man will be Tom Holland, right?
Yeah.
But for you and I, it's going to be Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
right?
he's the Michael Keaton of our Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
No, like I said, it was like, hey, and when Norman stabs him, I was kind of like, no.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
And they like. At the end, they're all saying goodbye. They're all speeching, and then Andrew Garfield turns to tell me, "You're in a lot of pain, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah." But no. I think they did. I think this was everything that they needed it to be. You? What do you think?
Well, like I said, I wish, I know it didn't happen, but I wish in a perfect world I would have known anything about it. But I mean, it still hits all the points, right? Yeah, no. I liked it. I just would have liked it a million times more if those surprises happened to me. In
your
the
first
theater,
experience would have been a lot better if you hadn't.
Yeah. But yes, obviously, I still liked it. But you ready to get on some names in the news?
Sure.
So we'll do this quick. Lightning round, April 21st, second season of The Flight Attendant with Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah.
We did see a trailer for Miss Marvel Disney. It's coming out on June 8th. I'm going to reserve any judgment because I'm not familiar with the comic. I mean, like,
it looks like they changed her powers, so I'm kind of like, ooh.
Yeah. Season 3, The Umbrella Academy, will be on June 22nd. And of course, this one Mark won't watch, but I'm curious to see what they do with the new Resident Evil Netflix series coming out on July 14. Yeah. And Jeff Bezos, who is richer than God, plunked down $8.5 billion to acquire MGM.
Yeah.
That's right. Amazon now owns James Bond.
Very much so.
Yeah, that's all I got for you in the news, sir.
To plunk down $8 billion.
And that's just a drop in a bucket for that company. That's just it's like nothing. Only $8 billion.
MGM's $8 billion? Buy that shit.
Yeah. Now's not the time to cancel your Amazon Prime, folks. You got the whole library. So.
Yeah. He's like, do you take Interact?
Oh, can I pay for it with one of my rocket ships? Here you go. Here, take this one.
I wonder if you get like a platinum Interact, there's no limit to what you can. I got my platinum, my black bank card. I can charge.
I'm sure there must be a billionaire card.
I know, right?
That we'll never see. Yeah,
it's like I keep going.
It's made out of a meteorite.
For me, when I have the money, when I save up something for like a camera or whatnot, I'm always, every time I'm at the store and I go to buy something, it's like, okay, will it go through? Or do I have a limit on this?
And of course, next week we'll have a review for you of Halo on Paramount Plus. Yeah. We don't know how many episodes, but we'll have a review.
You never played the game, right?
No. But I'm familiar with it, but no, I don't know much of the story. But I did watch Halo Nightfall, which you still haven't watched yet, which was very good. But you'll get to that, I'm sure, at one point. During summer, when you're looking for something to watch, you can always pull up Halo Nightfall.
No, I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to put this together, because I mean, when you get into the game, I mean, you never see his face, you never see his beginnings, or you get inklings of his beginnings, and he's just like this, military machine that just doesn't quit, right? And I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to portray all that. And is it just going to be him action? Or are they going to actually see a softer side? And then they got Cortana's in there, and it's going to be like, yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, they did enough storytelling in the game. I mean, the amount of cinematics that were in the game was almost movie. Like for the entire game, like if you stitch all the animatics together, it was a movie. It really was. So I'm kind of like, I want to see how they're going to do this. I mean, we already saw some of the action scenes, and I think it's right up there on par. I personally think this is going to give Mandalorian a run for its money. There you have it, folks. Right from the mouth of Mark.
Yes,
we will see.
We will see you next week.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got, man.
All right, let's wrap this up.
All right, sir.
Okay, people, our fans, our loved ones. You can find us on social media. You can search YouTube for Butcher Bay Rejects. You can catch us on Twitter at Bay Rejects, on Facebook at Butcher Bay Rejects, as well as on TikTok at Butcher Bay Rejects. And of course, there's our website, butcherbayrejects.com. And we are on all the podcast platforms. We are on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Alexa TuneIn, Amazon Music, and Pandora. This has been Butcher Bay Rejects. I am Mark.
I'm Greg. See you next week, nerds.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.